Hello everyone, my name is Katie. I am the Introverted Reader and it's been a while, hasn't it? I haven't filmed a video in over 3 weeks. It's a long story, but there is work happening in the house. And yeah, it's been a lot. It's been very chaotic and mentally and emotionally draining, but I'm here to wrap up the month of March, because one good thing that did happen in March was that I read a lot of books. I do want to say as well, if the quality on this isn't great, then I do apologize, because like I've mentioned, my phone screen is jacked up. I'm gonna go out today and just renew my phone and just be done with this piece of garbage because I just can't with it anymore. So yeah, I did read a lot of books. Majority of them were on my trusty dusty Kindle, because obviously I was away from the house, so I didn't bring a whole lot of physical books with me. But the first book that I read in the month of March was The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. This was the Introverted Reader book club pick for the month of March. And this is supposed to be a feminist retelling of Dracula's Wives. It's about these two twin sisters who are a part of this traveling community, and one day these invaders come and burn everything, kill everyone, and there's drilling down there, but ignore that. Basically, they're taken away from their home and they're brought to this castle to basically be slaves and servants, and they're treated real bad. And if I'm being honest, I didn't really enjoy it. I know I said I was going to do a review on this book, but if I'm being honest, I find it boring. I find it slow. Like, Dracula wasn't even in it until the last few chapters, and whenever he did show up, he was not scary. I didn't find him intimidating. I didn't enjoy myself. And there is a sapphic romance in this, and if I'm being honest, I find that rushed. Like, so rushed. Like, I was just it was just really, really boring and slow, and I didn't enjoy it. 2 stars for this. I don't think I'm gonna do a full review on it because I don't have that much to say, if I'm being honest. Like, all I want to say about it is what I've just told you now. So 2 stars. Did not enjoy this, sadly. The next book that I read was actually an audiobook. I carried this over from February. It was on my Royal Readathon TBR. But that was Ashante by Deathless, and this was probably one of the least memorable books that I've ever read in my life, because I kept forgetting that I'd read this. If I hadn't like written down what my TBR was and looked over it again when I was, you know, getting ready to make this video, I would have completely forgotten about this. I wouldn't have remembered. It's set in 1789 in Paris. And we're following 3 siblings. Their parents have died due to smallpox, and it's basically up to them to try to keep their family afloat. But the brother is a drunk. He goes away and pawns off all their possessions and money, whatever money they get. And it's basically up to the older sister to try and keep things together. And her mother taught her sort of like this, I don't really know what sort of, how to describe it, but it's like common magic, kind of. Like, she can like turn scrap pieces of metal into coins, and gambling and playing cards plays a huge plot in this book, and she can like change what the cards look like so she wins and stuff like that. And it just wasn't like, not much really happened, if I'm being honest. It was very unmemorable. Like I said, I hardly remember even the fact that this was even on my TBR, but I am happy that I read it, because it was a book that was sitting on my shelf for a long time. I'm happy that I finally read it, but I'm even more happy to let it go. I'm even more happy to have it leave the house, because it's going in the unhaul pile along with The Deathless Girls, honestly. So read Deathless Girls on my Kindle. I listened to the audiobook for Ashante, and the next book that I read, the one and only book that I gave 5 stars to this month, which is really sad, and it was Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. Me and Amy over book 2 with Amy buddy read this together because she noticed that I hadn't read it yet, and then she asked me like, hey, I haven't read this either, do you want a buddy read? And I was like, yes I do. And this is one of the most beautiful books that I've ever read in my whole entire life. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this book saved the month of March for me. Like, I will say in the first few chapters I was just like, I don't know, like it's kind of boring. But then I got more into it and oh my god. Okay, so it's basically a story about this man called Wallace Price, right? That is his name, right? Yeah. Wallace Price. And at the very beginning of the book, at literally end of the first chapter, he dies of a heart attack. And then a reaper comes to get him and takes him to this tea shop, which is run by this man called Hugo. And Hugo is a ferryman, and it's basically his job to navigate lost spirits and ghosts to the other side. Like, help them come to terms with their death, help them to let go of whatever it is that's keeping them here on Earth, so that they can pass on peacefully. And God, it's so good. This had me sitting, like, I'm reading it on my Kindle and I'm just sitting here like like I actually have some clippings of some quotes from this book that I actually want to read out to you right now, because even though I did read it on my Kindle, I need to show you. Where are they? Hold on. Although I'm worried that my okay. All right, open up. Okay. Yes, so I highlighted some quotes from this book even though I was reading on my Kindle, but one that, like, I highlighted a whole bunch, but one that I highlighted was, Wallace whispered, "It's easy to let yourself spiral and fall." It is, Nelson agreed, but it's what you do to pull yourself out of it that matters most. And it's just, ugh. Like, and another one, sometimes the best way to help someone is to not say anything at all. Like, what are a couple of years in the face of eternity? Are you kidding me? Like, I cannot with this book. Like, every other quote that I remember, like, reading and just being like, I wish I had, like, an actual highlighter that I could highlight it, but I'm tempted to just get the normal hardback of it, because this is my lovely Illumicrate edition that I just had to get. So I'm thinking I might get the normal hardback so that I can reread it and highlight everything, because it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And Wallace and Hugo, I love them. Nelson, don't even get me started on Nelson. Do not even open that door around me. We don't talk about Nelson. I love this book. 5 stars. Read it. Literally favorite of the year. And the next book that I read on my Kindle, War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the controversial queen herself. Unpopular opinion, and y'all can suck an egg because I don't even care. I love this book. I loved this. And that scene that you're all clutching your pearls about and screaming at Jennifer as if she insulted your family's honour and spat on your granny's grave, it was so well done. It was so well done. It was a beautiful scene. This book went exactly the way I thought it was going to go, and it went there, and I'm happy. I'm happy. And I genuinely don't care what anyone else says. Like, I love this book. I loved it. See these two? These 2 books right here saved the month of March for me. I love this. This got 4.5 stars from me. Maybe in my heart, I actually did give it 5, but I love this. So good. Like, I don't care what anyone says. It went exactly the way it was meant to, and I'm happy. I love this book so much. Like, and like, I don't know what the next book is going to be called, or whether she's going to write the sequel to Shadow in the Ember, but again, I don't care. I'm so happy. Like, I love Poppy. I love Castile. I love Kieran. Kieran fully has my heart. Like, especially after these last 2 books, Kieran fully has my heart. I love him so much. Oh my gosh. Right, I need to stop before I burst into tears. Okay, so a whole bunch of other books that I read this month was by an author called Billy Bloom, and they, if you remember, they write a lot of gay smutty romances. I read 4 of their books on my Kindle this month. And they're so fun. They're so enjoyable. Like, they have this little series called the Bromance Chronicles. I'd read the first two and I read the latter two, and they're just so much fun. Is there a whole lot of plot to them? No. Does very much happen? No. But did I even care? No. And was the smut super hot? Yeah. So if you're into those sort of books, it's all like sort of like university. They're like older. They're like in their 20s. So like if you like university romance with like hockey thrown in there, because a lot of the guys are like hockey players, then, you know, get into it. And like they cost next to nothing on Kindle. Like if you get them on Kindle Unlimited, you can read them for free. I'm not sponsored. No one told me to say that. But like I love them. I loved all the ones that I read. So I'm happy. Now the next one I want to talk about didn't make me happy, and I'm so sad. If Kaz over Kazacamera is watching this, please just go, because you don't want to see this, because you're not going to want to talk to me anymore. But Sleepover, Takeover by Simon James Green, I gave 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was. I just got so confused. I didn't know where we were, what was happening. Like, this is basically a story about a young boy called Otis, goes to a sleepover party, eats a whole ton of sugar, passes out, and then wakes up the next morning in a wedding dress with no idea where he is. And all the way through the book, I'm asking that question as well. I'm like, sweetie, where are we? What's happening? What's going on? It was just so random. Like everything that happened was just so random and convoluted. I didn't understand. Like, I'm like, Simon, what's going on? Simon, what are you doing? Like, I don't know, maybe it was just me. I don't know whether it was just me, the book, a mixture of both. I don't know. Like I said, I was very mentally drained. Like, my mental health wasn't great over the last few weeks. So maybe it was just a combination of all of that, and that tainted my enjoyment of this. But all in all, I gave it 3 stars. Like, I know that Simon is going to be coming out with another YA book really soon. I've pre-ordered my copy. I can't wait for it. And I'm going to get that. I'm going to read it. And that is going to be the saving grace. And we're just not going to talk about this ever again. But again, I might reread this. I might very well reread it. So don't be thinking, oh no, she doesn't like Simon anymore. That's not true. Like, I still do. It's just, there's always that one book in an author's list that's just not as good as the others. Do you know what I mean? And the very last book that I would like to talk about is Into the Spotlight by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I DNF'd this. It's 27 chapters. I got to chapter 24 or 25. Couldn't take it anymore because nothing was happening. Everybody was talking in metaphors and cliches, and it was getting on my damn last nerve. I don't care. I didn't care. I don't care about these 3 children. I don't care about their old rundown theatre. Like, your theatre, like, because it's basically about these 3 children that get taken in by this woman called BAM, which is basically an acronym. Her name is Brilliant Aunt Maud. Her name is Maud, but everybody calls her BAM for whatever reason. And this woman is just, I don't know what to make of this woman. Like, she travels around the world and collects pebbles. And they all go by the last name Pebble. And they all live in this theatre with all these other, like, old performers. And they haven't been able to afford any brand new performers or put on a brand new show in years. And it's just like, sweetie, sell it and move on. Like, my God, it's just a building. But they're like, no, we have to save our theatre. Like, everyone either makes ripples or waves. We're all part of the same ocean. And I'm like, shut up! I'm all for positivity, but this was too much. I don't know what pixie dust you've been inhaling. I don't know what fumes from the grease paint are making you high, but you need to calm down. Like, I'm happy that I gave it a shot, but all in all, it was a DNF for me, and I'm telling you now, these 3 books, these 3 books are going in the unhaul bag. Right there. You go in there. Or fall out of it. I don't know. What are you doing? Ugh. Just like, get in there. I'm determined. I'm going to put this into the unhaul bag. That's where you're going. You go in there. I'm determined. You get in there. There you go. Into the unhaul bag they go. Okay? So that was my March wrap up. Out of them all, there were some good books in there, obviously. Under the Whispering Door, War of Two Queens, we gave high ratings. Sleepover, Takeover, I'm going to give another chance. But the rest of them, let's just not talk about. Anyway, I'm so happy to be back. My TBR for April is going to be coming at the weekend. So subscribe, turn on the bell. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so you know what's happening. And yeah, I'm really, really happy to be back. I missed you guys. Mwah. Bye.